Now at 3 o'clock, we are talking about drug overdose deaths, setting a new record in the United States.
The DEA's special agent in charge of the Los Angeles Field Division, Bill Bodner, joining us once again live here. And good to see you, Bill.
Good to see you.
All right, so with more on to the troubling statistic, what can you tell us about overdose deaths right now?
You know, 92,000 overdose deaths in the United States last year. That's a 30% increase from the prior year. And as a matter of fact, it's the highest number ever recorded. You know, part of it we can attribute to the social challenges we faced, COVID lockdowns, unemployment, economic distress. All these things can cause people to turn to drugs, I guess, in an effort to self-medicate and feel better and get through some very stressful times. But I think the most significant contributing factor is the increase of powerful synthetic drugs like fentanyl on our streets, and the fact that this drug is now disguised to look like a prescription drug.
Let's break it down specifically for LA County. What does it mean for us?
You know, it was especially bad here in LA County, to be honest with you. 2,300 drug-caused deaths. That's 65% more than the prior year. So if you look at the national trend, overdose deaths up by 30%, but locally we see a 65% increase. There's a disproportionate impact here at home, unfortunately. Part of that is because of where Los Angeles sits in the illicit drug supply chain. We are a transshipment hub. So when drugs cross the border at our California ports of entry, they come right to Los Angeles and they're warehoused here for distribution to the rest of the United States. We're always going to be on the forefront of drug trends, and we're unfortunately always going to bear the brunt of drug harm.
What about this recent seizure of counterfeit pills?
Yeah, we worked with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. We were doing a joint investigation, and that investigation led us to serve a search warrant at a house in San Bernardino. Over 130,000 counterfeit pills were seized. Now, these are pills that are made to look exactly like oxycodone tablets. The size, the shape, the color, the stampings. The reality is they have no pharmaceutical ingredients in them. There's just fentanyl in them, and this is what's causing the damage in our streets. Over the past couple of years, we've seen a tenfold increase in the amount of these pills on our streets, and this is, you know, very a good example of the dangers that we're facing in our community right now with fentanyl.
Well, and let's talk about that as well. Like, who's being affected by this? Is this kids, or are these people on the street, or are these just people partying?
You know, Lou, a great question. Unfortunately, it's younger people. Most of the deaths we're seeing are teens through about 35 years old. Now, some of these people maybe battled with substance use disorder, but there's a whole nother group of people that are dying. And I guess that piece that they're dying from is the deception piece. They think they're taking a pharmaceutical drug, an oxycodone, a Vicodin, a Xanax, and the reality is it has none of that pharmaceutical ingredient in it. So perhaps they're a new drug user and they were, for lack of a better term, they were tricked and they took something, and sometimes 1 or 2 pills is enough to kill you.
Are these dangerous drugs, this fentanyl? How do you combat this, and where are these drugs originating from?
Yeah, these drugs are generally made in illicit labs south of the border here in California. And hey, we have kind of a threefold approach. We look at, just as you saw in that last example, we look at the major targets who are bringing the most significant quantities of these fake pills into our communities, and we go after them with federal drug trafficking laws. We also look at social media and online marketplaces, and we do a lot of undercover work. We have DEA agents working undercover because these sites are the ones that are catering to younger people, and we really feel like we owe the public some extra effort there to put a stop to that. And finally, it's just the education piece. Like, we need the public's help, even with all the law enforcement we can do, whether it's tracking overdose deaths back to a supplier and charging him. Even with all that we do, without the public's help in educating people about the dangers, it's not going to be enough. You know, finally, if you've lost someone to a drug-caused death, or you know someone who has lost someone to a drug-caused death, we've set up a mailbox, an email mailbox, where you can ask for a kind of a law enforcement intervention in trying to get charges brought against a drug supplier. It's LAFD-drug-caused-deaths at DEA.gov.
Really quickly, for people who are watching, I'm terrified for the college kids who are going to school who simply take a pill. Any advice for parents to tell them?
Yeah, great question, and so important, especially with college kids, because we are seeing counterfeit Adderall pills now with Mexican methamphetamine in them. If you didn't get the pill prescribed to you from your doctor and get it from your pharmacy, it's fake. If you bought it on the street, it's fake. If you got it from an online marketplace, it is fake. Trust me, I see the marketplace. All the drugs out there are fake now, unless you're getting it from a pharmacy or directly from a doctor. And the fake drugs are extremely dangerous. One pill, unfortunately, and we have documented cases here, one pill is enough to kill you.
All right, Bill, as always, thank you so much for joining us with great information. We appreciate it.
Thanks.